On October 7th, there was an endless amount of miracles that happened. More and more are getting publicized. One of the stories that recently got publicized, the video of it, there's articles about it, is this secular guy decided, you know what, I'm going to build a sukkah for the first time in his life. Doesn't really know so much about Torah, Mitzvot, and everything else, but he knows it was Sukkot. I'm going to build a sukkah because he has a little kid, maybe he wants to show some tradition, and he's handy, so he took some wood and then he has to make the schach. So he had a palm tree, tiny little thing. He said, I cut whatever was there, and I put it on top. He says, I don't know if it was the most kosher sukkah, but for us it was a first. At 6 o'clock in the morning, when he's hearing gunshots, he tells his wife and daughter, we have to get out of here fast. Can't stay here. They're coming. They're in the neighborhood. As soon as they get out of the house from the side of the house, they hear that the gunshots are coming closer and the terrorists are coming. You have to hide. Where are you going to hide? That little bush that he cut off most of it. Hide over there. Hopefully they won't see us. Minutes later, the terrorists come. And he says the terrorists are standing right next to him. They're all laying down. They're on this tree that literally, it's almost bare. And the guy is standing right next to them. He says, I'm looking at his shoes. Tell my wife, don't say anything, don't even breathe, nothing. If we say a single thing, he's gonna look. But all the guy has to do is turn his head. That's it. I don't know what happened. The guy was looking around, but it's like you can see through us. What I can tell you is, for the rest of my life, I'm gonna celebrate Sukkot. Because just like David HaMelech says to Hashem, on that day of war, you're gonna hide me in your sukkah. Once this guy took this tree, this creation in the world of Hashem, and made it into a sukkah, nature changed. Now you would think, yeah, if he hid in the sukkah, that kind of fits. Because, okay, they just didn't look in the sukkah. The sukkah was destroyed to nothing. Hashem wanted to make sure that this Jew knows it's not the sukkah, it's me. That tree, you just made the tree holy. Why? You used it for a mitzvah. Yeah, but there's no branches. Who says you need branches? Oh, Hashem has to decide. Terrorists not going to see you. And there's endless amount of stories like this, of people saying Shema Yisrael for the first time in their life. There's another guy named Uri. Uri was a guy that was very religious about going to parties. Every party he would go to. Uri wanted to have a good time. Look, everybody else did at some point in their life, what still does unfortunately. At 6:29 in the morning, he was a Nova in the party. They started hearing the alarm. He said nobody took it seriously. Didn't realize that it's not just the rockets in the air. Didn't realize that there's thousands of terrorists that are running in their direction and killing people wherever they saw. But then they start hearing the shooting and they realized, oh, this is different. This is not just rockets. Everybody got used to the rocket. When I was in Eretz Yisrael last year and the year before that, every time there was rockets. Here's the alarm. You go to the Ma'amad, it's a special room in every house, and you wait until it's done. You go out. Sometimes you see the rockets in the air, get blown up. People moved on. Get used to it. This wasn't that done. Here, they're hearing gunshots. They're hearing a war, and the war is getting close. Immediately, Uri got into a car with two of his friends. Start driving. They got into a stop where there was bumper to bumper. Nobody was moving. Uri ran. They got out of the car to go run and to see what's there. As he got closer and closer, he saw the front of where the bumper to bumper starts. There's no traffic. The terrorists were there standing, shooting everybody. Car to car, killing everyone. Uri runs back to the car. They're starting to shoot at him. Tells his friends, we gotta get out of here. They start running. The terrorists chase them, start shooting at them. One guy dies, one guy gets shot in the leg, and he gets shot in the arm. They continue running. They got to a place where they saw there's unfortunately a bunch of dead bodies everywhere. They lay down. Their whole thing is a mess. They lay down with them, face down, because they knew that if they face up, terrorists are going to check. They face down, face to the ground. 8 hours, he's facing down on the ground. He knows that if he moves his head, if anything, he's gone. After 8 hours, start hearing the Israeli soldiers say, anyone's alive, anyone's alive. So finally I got up, what can I do? And not only do I look like an Arab, but I also dress like one. And instead of being saved, all that came to reality when I saw a bunch of the Israeli soldiers surround me with their guns out, say, if you move, we're gonna shoot. I said, no, I'm a Jew. So it says, say the Aleph Bet. I was so scared, they're getting closer, I forgot the Aleph Bet. Say it, I'm shooting you. The guy puts the gun in his face, about to click. He says, I don't know where this came from. I never heard this before. I know that when I was in there, face down for 8 hours with the terrorists walking around me, I spoke to Hashem and I told him, Hashem, if you save me from this, I promise I'm going to put the tefillin on, I'm going to keep 3 Shabbats. He says, as this soldier is about to shoot me, all of a sudden something comes out of my throat, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. I never heard it before, never prayed it before, but as soon as I said it, the soldier hung me. Why? Arabs don't say Shema Yisrael, but the neshama knew. As the Gemara says in Masechet Nida, before you come to this world, there's a malach that HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts in your mommy's belly to teach you every part of the Torah. Everybody knows. All Jews know the Torah. It's in your mouth, it's in your heart to do it. But in order for you to know the Torah in this world, you have to be reminded of it. How? Opening the book, watching shiurim. You could open a book, 1 year you read it. You read your Mesilat Yesharim. You read Chovot Levavot. Some time passes, you go back to the same book. You open the book, now you've read this before. You could have read it 5 times already. But all of a sudden you read the book and all of a sudden something else comes up. And it's as clear as day to you. As if you already know this from your previous life. Why? Because you already do. But to be reminded of it, you have to toil and earn for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to unfold it. Uri knew the Shema Yisrael. His neshama knew. His body needed a little bit of a reminder. A gun to the face sometimes helps you. Everybody has the opportunity to do tshuva, but sometimes people need the encouragement to do it with a nice story. Sometimes they need the encouragement with a scary story. Sometimes they need to live the scary story. For those who haven't watched it yet or haven't watched it in a while, highly recommend watch the film Hashem Took Back His Millions. It's a story that I lived. The one thing it can connect to everybody in different walks of life. That's how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu cares about every single Jew. So we see that sometimes that's enough to help people wake up. The smart person learns from all of this and realizes that new creation, as Hashem himself says, I will create something new on that day. This is not going to be anything that you have any history of. There are certain things that are similar to it, like the war of Chizkiyahu against Sancheriv, where Chizkiyahu did not even have an army, and Sancheriv had the biggest army the world has ever seen. That was supposed to be Gog and Magog, but it ended up not being. Nothing resembles. There's also the war against Amalek that Moshe Rabbeinu fought, supernatural war that the Me'am Loez says this is the greatest war outside from Gog and Magog. Why? The supernatural powers. The Amalek knew when someone's going to die, and hence they only sent the people that cannot die to the war. Meaning that even if you stab the guy 50 times, he's not dying. Why? It's not his day to die. Yeshua ben Nun is using hail with fire to kill Amalek. Not even the movies have the creativity to do such a thing. Some of this hail of fire is coming back. In fact, the Me'am Loez says part of the hail with fire that came down on Egypt hit the Egyptians. Part of it hit Amalek. Part of it still in the heavens, waiting for Gog and Magog.